Hey guys, welcome back to the Team Ham channel. James here, covering my personal Majesty Lord Blaster deck for the Overdress format. As people know on the channel here, I love Royal Paladin. I love playing the Royal Paladin clan. So it would make sense that I would make the Royal Paladin deck in Overdress, right? So I've been playing this deck quite a bit. I've pretty much tried to make it my own. I've seen a lot of lists online how to build this deck, and I wasn't really liking them, so I tried to think outside the box when making this, and I'm liking how it turned out, and hopefully it'll give some ideas to you guys, some inspiration if you want to build this deck. Everything is fairly cheap, minus the SPs. I just SP'd it out because, again, the love for Royal Paladins, but you know, come on, you can't say no to this. I mean, look at this. They look nice, right? So without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. This is my ride line right here. As you can see, we have the Wingull, the Marin, and then obviously the Blaster Blade, and then the Majesty Lord Blaster. I tried the Blaster Dark ride line. I've tried other ride lines in this deck, and I've just been really solid with these myself. Now for the grade 3s, obviously we run the other 3 copies of the boss. If you're not aware what he does, if you have both Blaster Blade and Darkened Soul, he is a permanent 15k base and extra crit on both players' turns. That extra 2k really does matter, especially when you're guarding against your opponent. Your opponent is swinging at you with 28k column. You can drop a 15k shield and block it, since it'll be 30 when you drop the 15. Versus if you play any other deck, when you're 13k base, a 15k shield isn't enough. You have to drop 2 cards. So usually when you're guarding with this, it's less cards you need to guard, just because of that 2k. It's really nice. Then his other skill is when he swings, you can put a Blaster Blade or Dark into Soul. Blade will let you retire in a rear guard, and then Dark will give you an extra drive check for the turn. So that's what he does. And then the grade 3 that I've been running with this is the Twin Great Magic Totone. I'm really bad with names, sorry guys. But I really love this card. So when MLB was being revealed, and pretty much most people were saying that it's a 3-attack deck, that you just swing with your van and then you swing with your rear guards and that's it. I thought, well man, how can you change it to where it's a 4-attack deck? Is there any way to get that 1 extra attack in? And then I saw this card in my Hexa Orb deck, and I thought, you know what? This card is not restricted to Hexa Orb. She's very generic. She just relies on you drive checking a front trigger to stand a grade 2 or less rear guard. So you can take a guess that by playing this, I make my deck more front focused. And I thought, you know what? If that's what it takes to get that extra attack, I have to chance it and get a front trigger, then so be it. Because you get an extra drive check with MLB, you have higher chances to hit that front. Her other skill, if you hit a critical trigger, you can take one of your opponent's rear guards and put it in the bottom of their deck. So she's also like a mini way of trying to control the opponent's board. She's not restricted to returning a front row unit. You can just return any of your opponent's rear guards, which is really nice. So I've been using her a lot. I've been playtesting with this deck with her, and it's crazy how consistent it really is when you rely on the fronts. I know that if you have to rely on a drive check of a trigger, it's usually not a good thing, but surprisingly enough, it's been working in this deck, and it's really been catching people off guard. It's been letting me take wins when I shouldn't have. When normally, when it would have been a 3-attack deck, I wouldn't have won, but because of her, I would, because of that extra attack. So these are the grade 3s. And then we'll go to the grade 2s. Obviously, we run the 4 Blaster Darks because getting that extra drive check is very crucial. We hardly ever use them for the retire effect, but it's there if you need it. And then we run 3 extra Blaster Blades for the extra retire target, and just for another target to put into Soul. I've seen some lists cut out Blaster Blade to 2 or even just to 1 extra, because if you have us in your starting ride line, you'll always have the Blaster Blade there. But I like him as a 3 of, again, for that extra retire, for the extra card to put into Soul. And you'll see later, so I can have extra copies in the Soul, so I can Soul Blast it out for other skills. So that's why we run the 3 and the 4. And then for the other grade 2s, I run 1 Maple. I only run 1 Maple just because if you have 2 in the drop zone, you can't keep calling out copies of her. She is restricted to just having 1 on the field, as you can see. So she's just a free recursion unit that keeps coming to the field. So that's why I run her as a 1 of. She comes out when you keep riding a grade 3. So if you discard her early for your ride line, and then when you finally hit your grade 3 turn, she'll be able to come out on your first grade 3 turn. So it's a free grade 2 like that. And yeah. And then the other main grade 2 that I run is 4 of the Drilling Angel. Now, Drilling Angel's not only in here just be able to put a blaster from the drop zone back into the soul if I need to, but actually he's in here to try to recuperate any copies of rear guards that are in the drop, try to call them from the deck to get a field, and you can actually do a high roll play with him early on. So when you hit your grade 2 turn, you can discard, say, her for your ride line, right into your grade 2 blaster blade. Then you can call him, putting her into the soul, and try to get a copy of her from the top 3 cards of the deck. So that way you can call it onto rear guard circle. And then if you have the counter blast, you can swing with him first, swing with blaster blade. If you have a front drive check, then you can do her skill to restand him and get that 4 attack sent on your grade 2 turn. Now I know that's like a big high roll shot, but I've done it, I think, about 2-3 times. And when it does happen, oh, it hurts. It hurts a lot. But that's just one play you can do early with it. But he's also in here to try and search for, you know, other, like I said earlier, like any blasters on top of your deck potentially, and putting them back into soul. Try to search for your grade 1s so that way you can try to get a booster back. Just little plays like that, and also to recuperate the soul so you can soul blast for other effects that I'll explain in a little bit. So yeah, so that's that. And for the grade 1s, we have the 4 PGs because they're PGs, enough said. As I was saying earlier, we do have Soul Blast effects, and it's mainly the grade 1s. So this is one of them. The Painkiller Angel, just at the end of the battle she boosted, you can Soul Blast, retire, and draw a card. If you do her early on your grade 2 turn, you can, instead of trying to do the grade 3 play and risk for that, you can go into him, put this back into soul, check top 3, hope to get another one, so you can get 1 extra draw. And yeah, self-explanatory on that. And then the other grade 1 we run is this one. So this one was suggested to me by my teammates, Sam, aka the Intuitive Gambler. I don't know if you've seen his other video yet, but if you haven't, go check it out. He did a deck profile on Harry Premium. Shout out to him, man. Really good player. In his Thegria deck, he actually runs this card as a 4-of, and when I played against him, he would see this, and it was just a real annoyance to deal with, especially if your opponent cannot get rid of it. So what she does is you act not once per turn, Soul Blast 2 until the end of the turn. The power increase of trigger effects revealed from your drive check gets +5. So when you have her on the board, you Soul Blast 2. If you drive check a front trigger, let's say, instead of giving 10 to the front, thanks to her, you just became 15 to the front. And if you can do her twice, it's +20 to the front if you hit a front trigger instead of just 10 or 15. So this card can be a real problem, especially if later on, as the later the game goes and more triggers are in your deck, the higher chance of hitting them and the higher chance she's going to go off and give those triggers extra power and be able to break through defenses or be able to overpower your opponent's hand when normally you wouldn't be able to. So she is a very important card. I tried her out in this deck, and when she does go off, oh, it's great. Hitting a front with 15k extra power, it really throws people off and how they want to guard. So if you have this, if you want to run her, I totally recommend it. She was definitely under the radar. Never saw this coming. Saw my friend use it. He suggested it. It's been in my deck ever since. So I have her as a 3-of just so I can increase the chances of hitting it with this grade 2 if I put her into soul. I also have a higher chance of trying to see it early on, so I can just have it right there in my hand when I'm ready to play it. And yep, so those are my grade 1s. And so as I was explaining, because this deck is very front focused because of the grade 3, we run more of a high front count, so I run 7 fronts. Now you would be thinking, well, why isn't he running 8? The reason why I'm not running 8 is because I'd rather have the 4 crits right here. So not only to try to see a crit to try to crit my opponent out, but also I want to have this here so I can have a higher chance of doing the Totones ability of trying to tuck a rear guard to the bottom of the deck, because I don't want to just have her for counterblast restand. I also want to have the other effect too, because her ability is counterblast, and you can do both effects if you drive check both triggers. So if I hit a crit and a front on the triple drive, I can counterblast one and get both effects off. So that's why I want to increase the chances of that happening with a higher focus on the restand. So that's why I'm running the 7 fronts and the 4 crits. And you can guess, because of that, we're not running any draw triggers. So this deck, because of all the triple driving you're doing and all the deck thinning you're doing, you will deck out. It can happen. Hasn't happened to me yet, but it's been very close. Obviously, we run the 4 heals because heals are nice. I've tried running the heals that are out right now, that with the extra attack, they get 15k shield. I've also proxied trying to use the heals that get extra shield value on the extra crits. And honestly, the 15k shield just works way better, especially because your Vanguard's going to be on that 15k base. I'd rather have the 15k shield guarantee, so I can guard for 30 instead of 28. And obviously we run the Keter OT because it's dumb. And yeah, that's pretty much my deck profile, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully it gives you guys some ideas, some inspirations for the deck. And just know that Royal Paladins is best clan. If you try to tell me otherwise, you're lying to me. But with that, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Again, hopefully it was helpful. Please like and subscribe and all that jazz. If you have any suggestions for the deck, if you have any ideas that maybe I should be trying with these combination of cards, do let me know. I do read the chats. I do read the comments. So please let me know your ideas and your thoughts. But with that, take care, guys. You all have a great day.